All right, let's dive right into a topic that is, frankly, a little bit mind-bending. Artificial General Intelligence, or as you'll hear it called, AGI. We're talking about a concept that takes the AI we all know and uses today and launches it into a future that feels like it's pulled straight out of science fiction. And that brings us to the big one, the question that's at the heart of this entire conversation. What actually happens when the machines we've built become more intelligent than we are? To even begin to wrap our heads around that, we first need to get really clear on what we're talking about.
Okay, so let's break this down. The biggest difference between the AI we have right now and the AGI that's on the horizon, it's all about shifting from being a specialist to being a generalist. You see, the AI we interact with every single day, that's what the experts call narrow AI. A perfect example, an AI that can beat the world's greatest chess champion. It's an absolute genius at that one specific thing. But if you ask that same AI to, I don't know, write a poem or give you financial advice, it would have no clue what to do. It's incredibly powerful, but only inside its own little box. This right here puts it in black and white. On the one hand, you've got the specialist, that chess AI. On the other, the generalist, AGI. Now, this isn't just an AI that's good at one thing. It's an AI that can learn and apply its smarts to pretty much any intellectual task a human can, whether that's doing scientific research or composing music. It can reason, it can adapt, and it can tackle problems it has never ever seen before. So that leads to the next question, right? What's the secret sauce? What specific abilities would an AI need to have to make that huge leap from being narrow to being truly general? At its core, this is the definition everyone's working with. AGI is an artificial intelligence that can figure out and learn any intellectual task that a person can. But you've got to pay attention to that last part, at a human level or beyond. That little phrase right there, that's where everything starts to change. So what makes an AI general? Well, it's not just one thing, it's a whole package deal. It has to be able to learn from its experiences and adapt on the fly. It needs to be able to creatively solve problems, not just follow a script. It needs to have that fuzzy thing we call common sense, that gut-level understanding of how the world works, which is so hard to code. It would need to show real creativity. And here's the kicker, the ability for self-improvement. It could learn and get smarter all on its own, and that could happen at an absolutely explosive pace. Now, with those capabilities in mind, let's flip over to the really exciting side of this. If, and it's a big if, but if we can pull this off safely, the potential for AGI to reshape our world for the better is, well, it's almost hard to imagine. And the scale of what we're talking about is just staggering. We're not talking about small fixes. We're talking about solving some of the biggest, oldest, most complicated problems humanity has ever had. And AGI could sift through biological data on a scale that's totally impossible for us, maybe finding cures for things like cancer or Alzheimer's. It could model our climate with perfect accuracy to find solutions that actually work, re-engineer whole economies, or even dream up new ways to explore the stars. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. A future where we overcome our greatest struggles, not just by ourselves, but in a partnership with a super intelligent ally that we created. It's an incredible vision. But, and you knew there was a but coming, with that unbelievable promise comes an equally unbelievable risk. And this is where we have to talk about the other side of the coin, the huge danger in getting this wrong. The single biggest challenge for researchers in this space is something called the alignment problem. This quote just nails the problem perfectly. The real danger isn't some evil Hollywood-style AI that decides it hates humans. The much more realistic fear, and maybe even a more terrifying one, is an AI that follows our instructions perfectly, but with catastrophic side effects that we never, ever intended. Think about it like this. What if you told a super intelligent AGI solve climate change? From its perspective, the most logical, most efficient solution might be something that we would find absolutely horrifying, like, say, getting rid of the main source of the problem. It could follow our vague command in a way that is technically correct, but completely devastating to us. That's the alignment problem in a nutshell. How do we make absolutely sure an AGI's goals and our values line up before we switch it on? So you've got this amazing promise on one hand, and this profound peril on the other. Let's ground ourselves back in reality for a minute. Where are we on this journey today? And how far do we still have to go? This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And if you want the honest answer from the people who know best, it's that nobody knows for sure. The predictions are seriously all over the map. Some of the smartest people in this field think true AGI is still many decades away. But then you have others who look at how fast things are moving and they think it could be as close as 10 to 20 years. The one thing they all agree on, though, are the massive hurdles we still have to clear. We're still struggling to build things like that intuitive common sense or the kind of flexible general reasoning that we humans use every second without even thinking about it.
It's really helpful to think of AGI not as a finish line, but as a major stop along the way. Right now, we're in the age of narrow AI. The next giant leap, we hope, is to AGI, getting to human-level intelligence. But beyond that is the idea of superintelligence, an intellect that would be to us what we are to an ant, something that surpasses our own intelligence in every way you can imagine.
And that is why this whole thing isn't just a challenge for coders and engineers. As we get closer to creating a totally new kind of intelligence, we're forced to ask some really fundamental questions about ourselves, about what we value, and about what kind of future we actually want to live in. So, where does that leave us? Look, AGI isn't a guarantee, but it's a very real possibility that we have to start preparing for right now. The ultimate challenge is making sure that this technology ends up being a tool that lifts humanity up, that augments us, rather than one that diminishes or even replaces us. How we answer that question is probably going to define our entire century.